few more questions, if you don't mind. What do you know about poppy pods?
Go on.
Ever come across anyone trying to sell them or anything like that? Maybe even in here?
Not that I remember.
Thank you. Probably be back later. A few more questions, if you don't mind. What do you know about poppy pods?
Poppy pod?
Ever come across anyone selling them, using them?
No.
That's all for the moment. Thank you. A couple more questions, if that's okay. Did you know about Ryan Round's arthritis?
Arthritis? I didn't think Ryan had arthritis.
Do you know about the mirror room at Atlas?
Mirror room. No, I heard about it, but I think it was only for the students later on in the course. Something like that.
Strange question. Have you ever known of anyone selling dried poppy pods?
Poppy pods? Don't think so. Isn't that opium?
Kind of. It's okay. Be back later on, if that's okay. Odd question, but have you ever seen anyone handling dried poppy pods?
Poppy pods? As in, for opium? No. Though James did have opium tea once, I think.
Where did he get it from?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't ask. James does his own thing.
What does opium tea taste like?
I don't know. I didn't try it.
Really?
I didn't want to risk it, did I? But I went to hospital once. I had codeine and I went into anaphylactic shock. The doctor said it was an opium derivative, apparently, so...
Aha. You and Kate took morphine in the mirror room. That's what you said, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're allergic to opiates, Simon. Opium. You didn't take the morphine at all, did you?
Well, no, I didn't. Kate did, though.
I thought you were trying to outdo each other. That was the point, wasn't it?
We weren't trying to outdo each other as such.
Go on.
Ryan wanted me to test Kate. To see how far she would go to be prime candidate.
What candidate?
Prime candidate. It means the best person in the group, basically.
What do you mean, test her?
But you do it in pairs. One person's the tester, it's me. And the other person's the...
victim?
Well, it's not like that. It's completely consensual. It's just boundary testing. Ryan wanted me to test Kate.
Because they thought she was the best student?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I just did what I was told, okay?
Except you decided to give her morphine. To break the law.
Well, I can't change that now, can I? She didn't die of a morphine overdose, did she?
She died because she drowned. But she drowned for reasons that aren't clear. Atlas seemed to have this all neatly worked out.
If Simon's telling the truth, Atlas are lighting the fuse and then retiring to a safe distance, letting students test themselves and push themselves to their limits while avoiding all comeback. Is this what happened to Kate?
Just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. You can push it all the way in, Tom, if you want to. Excellent, Tom.
Excuse me. Would someone care to tell me exactly what's going on here?
Don't come any closer.
That man needs a doctor.
No, he doesn't.
I don't need a doctor. I'm fine. Go away.
What is this?
A test.
Of what?
What does it look like? It's a threshold test. A pain threshold test. I thought, you were supposed to be good at working things out. Inspector Jenks.
And so this would be for Atlas, would it? Kyle?
You disappear now.
It's not a good idea to talk to a police inspector like that.
Do you want me to make you?
It's okay, Tom. Mr. Jenks won't be bothering us anymore.
Don't make any rash commitments. Well, well. You really should take more care of your things, Ryan. Is your keys, Kyle?
No.
So that's threshold testing, is it? Sticking a skewer through your hand? I could just ask Ryan or Paul directly about this, but I think I'll bide my time. See what I can do with this key fob first. A few more questions, please. Thank you. Know anything about poppy pods? Come across anyone selling them or anything?
Poppy pods. Well, don't tell anyone, Inspector, but I hear that you can make opium out of those. Why do you ask?
Doesn't matter. Now, tell me what a prime candidate is.
You're learning a lot, aren't you, Inspector? Prime candidates are simply the best students, the ones with the most potential.
And what benefits do they get from that?
Well, they get the top job.
Which is?
Well, we have a deal with various multinationals. We train students to be exceptional, truly exceptional. And they get a wonderful top job. It seems a very simple deal.
And how do you decide who the prime candidate is? Do you test students?
No.
Did you ever, say, ask Simon to test Kate, for instance?
Oh, you've actually been speaking to Simon, haven't you? I really wouldn't trust anything that Simon Thompson says. You know, he spent the best part of 2 months trying to undermine Kate. No. Now, Simon Thompson, it really isn't my place to speculate, but if you're looking for motives, Inspector, he certainly had a few motives. More than I.
A motive to kill her, do you mean?
Now, that's very interesting, Inspector. Well, that's up to you to decide.
OK, that's it for now. Thank you. Ask you a couple more things, please. Thank you. Probably be back later. Bingo. Well, Ryan, what have you been up to? Be very interesting to see how he explains this one. Just a few more questions, if you don't mind.
What are prime candidates?
The best of the bunch. The peaches.
And so what does it mean to be a prime candidate?
Success. We have a special relationship with many major international companies. We provide them with our best students. And they get an instant job.
And what do you get out of it?
Well, it's a little kickback. Just business, Inspector.
Now, why do you think Ryan might want to give Kate a cheque for £500?
I've really no idea. Where did you find it?
Just outside.
You better ask him.
You think Ryan was interested romantically in Kate?
I know he has a weakness for blondes, but I didn't think it had gone so far as his offering them cash.
Thank you. Probably be back later. Ask about a few more things, please.
Would you like to explain what this is, please, Ryan? £500 intended for Kate. It fell out of your car. At least I assume that's your car on the driveway at Brandon House.
I suppose so.
So why were you going to give Kate £500, Ryan?
It was just a little incentive, that's all. Just a little incentive.
Not very little, Ryan. £500.
She was a very good student. We heard that she was leaving. We wanted to give her something.
But you didn't.
Well, obviously not.
Are you sure there wasn't any other reason you might want to give her this? Personal reason?
No!
Well, I'd like to keep hold of this for a little while, if you don't mind.
Well, don't consider it a bribe, will you, Inspector?
Aha. So, students aren't coerced or bribed in any way, except Kate.
I'm not sure what you mean.
You said you were going to give Kate the £500 as an incentive. That's coercion, isn't it?
I really don't think you could call it coercion, Inspector. It was an incentive, that's all, a little encouragement.
So, how often do you use incentives?
Okay, incentive is probably the wrong word. The money was just to see how Kate would respond. It was part of her assessment.
Assessment?
We have to assess students as they progress. We don't use conventional methods like sitting an exam or anything like that. People pay for this course per session. We have to know if they're committed or not.
So you're assessing their progress and testing their commitment?
Yes, we are. We have to. This is a business, not a charity.
So Ryan's claiming the money was part of Kate's assessment. And did this assessment also involve threshold testing, I wonder? Or was the money for something else?
Aha. Well, which one is it, Ryan? Do you test students or not?
Well, some of them, yes.
Including Kate?
Yes.
Why was she being tested?
She was being tested because we wanted to see if she was good enough to become prime candidate, okay?
So Kate was in the running to be prime candidate?
Yes!
And did you ask Simon to test her?
Yes, I did. But I didn't ask him to do anything stupid. He knew it was against course rules.
How far did you ask him to push her?
I didn't ask him to push her. I asked him to test her. There's a huge difference! If Simon decided to give her too much caffeine or morphine or whatever, that's his responsibility. So if he did anything wrong, it was his own responsibility. He did it with his own mind and his own hand. We had nothing to do with it.
Midnight, and still no suspect, unless you count everyone I've interviewed. It's no surprise that Ryan wants to avoid any suggestion of being responsible for Kate's death, but I wonder if the man protests just a little too much.
Couple more questions, if that's okay? Was Kate a prime candidate?
Well, as Ryan has probably already told you, yes, she was.
Did you ask Simon to test her?
Yes, it's company policy. Leaders don't get involved.
And it covers your back, of course.
Well, nobody knows the students better than they do, Inspector. It's much better to let them just work it out among themselves.
It isn't very professional to force students to test each other to the point where one of them gets killed, Paul.
We don't force students to do anything that they don't want to do, Inspector.
So you don't force them into being tested?
No, we don't encourage anybody to hurt or offend anybody else here.
You don't use threshold testing, for instance?
No. If Simon Thompson went too far with Kate, that's his responsibility, not ours. He's the one you should be speaking to, if truth be told. I don't trust him myself.
That's all for the moment, thank you. A few more questions, please.
Do you know what a prime candidate is?
At Atlas, is the best student.
And what does that mean?
It means they get a guaranteed job with a very good salary. Well, that's the idea anyway.
But
Mostly they aren't up to it.
what happens then?
They get sacked.
Did you know Kate Vine was a prime candidate?
No.
Be back later on, if that's okay. Ask you a couple more things, please. Thank you. Probably be back later. A few more questions, if you don't mind.
Do you know what a prime candidate is at Atlas?
Yes, it's what every student wants to be. It's the best student. Apparently you get a great high-paid job afterwards. I don't think that really happens, though.
Did you know anyone in the running to be prime candidate?
What, like Simon? I don't think they picked Simon, to be honest. Well, he's got too many morals, and you can't have both at Atlas.
Do you know whether Kate was in the running to be prime candidate or not?
I don't, but I do think she would have been chosen just because she was, you know, Kate.
You didn't discuss it with Kate?
No. No, she never talked about Atlas.
That's it for the time being, thank you. A few more questions, if you don't mind.
Aha. You say you don't endorse threshold testing, that's the phrase, isn't it?
Yes.
Except you do, Paul, because you told me that the students use that CD in the mirror room. I've listened to that CD, and it very clearly mentions threshold testing. You keep batting this away, Paul. We don't really use hypnosis. The students aren't really tested, but I am this close to launching a full-scale investigation.
Look, we get a kickback from these students and they have to be exceptional. Of course we have to test them. That doesn't mean we do anything illegal. What do you think we do? Bump off the ones we don't like?
Well, that depends on how far you push them, doesn't it?
Well, we certainly don't kill them. Nobody here wanted Kate dead.
I'm sure they didn't. But what do you expect, Paul, when you put students under that much pressure?
She was a very, very valuable student. She was worth a lot to the business.
Really? And how much would that be?
But if you really want to know, 50 grand.
She was worth 50 grand?
Yes.
What, you were selling her?
Of course we were selling her. You don't get this, do you? We make perfect employees. Month after month. That's all we do.
What do you mean, perfect employees?
What big business needs, Inspector, more than anything else, is none of this altruistic, goody-goody crap. What we look for is people with ambition, no ethics. Push. Greed is good, all right? We don't deal with all this comfort stuff. The survival of the fittest. That's all there is. There's no higher purpose, no big plan. There's nothing at the end of the rainbow, except what you have and you can enjoy in the here and now.
And what do you enjoy now, Paul?
You're going to have to excuse me, Inspector. I'm a very busy man. I've got work to do.
I'll see myself out.
Lovely man, your father.
Shut the gate on your way out.
He's doing his level best to shut this place down. Get rid of him.
He's a policeman. We can't just...
You saw this, Ryan. You man up and you sort it. Tonight.
That doesn't sound good. Two totally morally bankrupt men are plotting to get rid of me. It's midnight. I don't have any backup and I don't even have a mobile phone. This is potentially quite bad. And what's Kyle got to do with it? I think I might make my way over to Atlas while Ryan isn't there. Maybe lock myself in.
Prove to me that you're man enough to do this, Kyle, and then you can deal with that ridiculous police inspector.
What is this? What the hell? Scotland Yard, not hell. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Inspector. What are you doing here?
Inspecting. So, come on. Let's have it.
I don't think you'd understand, Inspector. The best thing that you can do is turn around, go away, and leave us to it.
Knife.
What?
That knife gives me a perfect right to stick my nose in, investigate, and interfere.
This is all part of the Atlas course. It's a physical endurance exercise.
Drop the knife. The knife, Kyle!
Kyle.
Drop it! Not looking 100% brilliant for you, Ryan.
Well, please, Inspector, you've poked your nose into Atlas's affairs enough times to know that imaginative flair is part of the course's success. Our lessons are reinforced by a unique emotional experience.
Terror?
It's an extremely evocative tool.
Well, it's a good job you're not in charge of the national curriculum.
Now look, Inspector, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're thinking. But believe me, Atlas had nothing to do with the deaths of those people.
eyewitness account of a satanic sacrifice in the woods. That's not what we call circumstantial evidence, Ryan.
Simon. Now, I saw Simon walking home with Kate last Friday after the meeting. Now, Simon had some strange idea that he was in the running to become prime candidate. Well, a knob of butter has more chance of becoming prime minister. Oh, wait.
So are you telling me that...
Simon killed her? Well, it seems reasonable. It's likely, isn't it?
Any more likely than you, Ryan? Pig! I know. Police brutality. It's all right. Are you okay? I suppose it was too much to hope that Ryan had left the place open. Couple more questions, if that's okay.
Did Simon mention walking home with anyone after the meeting last Friday?
No, he just came home. Why?
He didn't mention walking home with Kate.
No, definitely not.
Thank you. Probably be back later.
What would you say if I said it's been suggested that you were seen walking home with Kate after Atlas last Friday?
What? By who?
The same person who suggested that you wanted Kate out of the picture because you found out she was in the running to be prime candidate.
Who said that?
Just a question.
I didn't think I was in the running. It was Ryan, wasn't it?
I am in no position to say.
It was Ryan.
Simon, calm down.
No, I can prove it. Kate's driving license, give it to me.
Why?
Kate's driving license, please. See that pattern on the tape there? Let me show you something. See this pattern? Now look at that. It's the same pattern. This has come from the same roll of tape as this. So there's only one person that's taped like that. Ryan. He gave me this piece of tape when I was in his office once. Why has Kate's driving license got a piece of Ryan's tape on it?
I have no idea, Simon.
Where did you find it?
Oh, by the lake.
But it's obvious, isn't it? Ryan was testing her. He was doing a boundary test to see how much she would do, how far she would go to be a prime candidate. But it all went wrong. Okay. It's one of the things we do at the course, right? You give something that's important to you to someone else, then they go and hide it somewhere. It's to teach you to not be bothered when you lose something that's important to you, all right? Kate gives her driving license to Ryan. Ryan goes and hides it somewhere down the lake. Kate finds out, she goes down looking for it, probably drunk, and she falls in.
I'm afraid I find that a bit far-fetched, Simon.
It makes perfect sense if you know anything at all about how Atlas
But
works.
Simon, if you got the tape from Ryan, Kate could have got it from him.
He told me he doesn't lend it out.
He lent it to you.
But I didn't kill her! Do a lab test on the card. His DNA will be all over it.
And what if yours is all over it?
It won't be. I didn't kill her. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. I need some painkillers.
Where did he go in such a hurry? Is he trying to act as suspiciously as possible?
A few more questions, please. Thank you. Have you seen patterned tape like this anywhere before?
Oh, Ryan's got some. I know, because I borrowed it.
When was that?
A couple of months ago?
Have you still got it?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it since then.
Aha. You last saw that sticky tape 2 months ago, is that correct?
Yes.
So how come you used it last week to tape over the broken window outside? That's the same tape.
Well, I must have been mistaken.
You see, the reason I'm asking is that it's exactly the same tape that was found attached to Kate's driving license, found at the scene. The tape that only Ryan has. Ryan, and of course, you.
So what are you saying?
Who's got the tape now? Do you know where it is?
No. No, I don't know where it is. Why are you asking me about this tape?
You seem nervous, Rebecca. Is there a problem?
Well, you're practically accusing me of having something to do with that woman's murder, aren't you?
I wasn't accusing you of anything, Rebecca. Unless there's something you'd like to tell me.
No, I wouldn't like to tell you anything.
Okay, well, that's fine. Obviously, we'll be swabbing everyone in the area for DNA, so if anything comes up on Kate's license, DNA traces.
What will come up? Nothing will come up. Right, I've had enough. I've got to get back.
Rebecca! Would you like to explain to me exactly what is going on?
Which bit? The fact that some leggy bitch was trying to steal my husband?
I think you had better tell me what you know, Rebecca.
Okay. You want to know what I know? Kate Vine seduced my husband and was going to blackmail him. Not only did she sleep with him, that whore did it just for his money, our money.
How did you work that out?
I heard her. I knew it was her arguing with Emma Bowman. Emma was trying to talk her out of it.
And how did she come to be at the lake?
She dropped that driving license thing when she came in and she was drunk. She dropped her bag. I took it out to the woods and stuck it over the lake. Then I waited for her. When she came out, I told her where it was, that someone had just run off into the woods with it.
You led her to the lake.
She was reaching out over the lake to get it. I didn't do anything, she just fell in.
But you let her drown.
It was dark. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't help her.
Really? Did you try, Rebecca?
Well, it was too late. She was just flapping about in the water. It was pathetic. She was making these gurgling sounds.
And what did you do?
I got a big stick. I just pushed her down with it until she stopped. Well, she was dead anyway. What did it matter?
You killed her, Rebecca.
But she slept with my husband.
She didn't, Rebecca.
What do you mean?
You got the wrong girl.
Who? Emma. It was Emma.
Rebecca Rand, I am arresting you for the murder of Kate Vine. You do not have to say anything, but anything you do say may be taken down and will be used in evidence against you.
understand?
Yes.
So, it appears that Kate Vine's death was a tragic case of mistaken identity. But there are some loose threads here. What was Ryan doing with Kyle and that girl in the woods? What if I hadn't interrupted? And what really happened to Liam last year? It seems I've only scratched the surface of Atlas and the Rand business empire. Trying to find out about Paul Rand's past is like peering into dense fog. He gives nothing away and covers his tracks with military efficiency. However, what is known is that Paul Rand has a lot of connections in high places, politicians, celebrities, business leaders. Perhaps James Wilson's ideas weren't too wide of the mark after all. I get the feeling there's still a lot more to learn about the Rand business empire.
You're going to have to excuse us. Atlas is closed for the moment, but we'll be open again very soon. Thank you for your interest.